Good evening. This side, Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer Treasury Consultant. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multi-asset and multinational hedge fund. By multi-asset, I mean we actively covering our position in multiple asset classes of the globe, which includes gold, silver, platinum, palladium, base metals, agriculture, foreign exchange, equities, and multiple asset classes. By multinational, I mean we actively covering our positions in multiple locations like United States, European Union, and Asia Pacific region. But like I repeated many a times, and I would continue to repeat all the times, is that we are a proprietary hedge fund. By proprietary, I mean to say no third party. Let me repeat, no third party can invest capital in our fund. Treasury Consulting do not invite any form of any investments by any third party. Please do take a note of that. Today, my deliberations is as per the hedge fund manager, which I am, though proprietary, and LLB student, a law student. You know that I worked as a corporate treasurer for American companies for approximately 10 years. In these 10 years, I dealt with almost every bank of the globe. Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Citi, Deutsche, RBS, BNP Paribas, ANZ, Westpac, you name them. In India also, I dealt with SBI, HDFC, ICICI, Axis, and variety of public sector banks. I quitted my corporate career in 2016 and started my fund in 2016. God willing, we are making good investments and we continue to keep it proprietary. This is our policy. But in 2008, I made one more policy for myself, and that policy was I would continue to learn how these top investment banks, top banks are actually working. What is the modus operandi of these banks? Today, as I speak, there is hardly any scandal. I repeat, there is hardly any scandal which these top banks not done with. Hardly any scandal. Like in 2019, Honorable Supreme Court made their judgment against JP Morgan Chase. It's Amarpali Group. Almost every month, one or another bank name coming up in the public domain. Whether it is fraud, whether this is cheating, whether this is market rigging, whether this is manipulation, whether this is any other scandal, their names are coming up in the public domain. And I keep tracking their names, I keep making a notes. I'll show you, guys, what I learned in the last 7 to 8 years as far as the money laundering is concerned. I can tell you that no other book in the world can teach me what I learned from money laundering from these foreign banks. I regularly downloaded their annual 10K reports. In US we call this 10K, in India we call this annual report. I regularly downloaded their 10K. I took the printout of their 10K. I studied the 10K and I got to know what are their subsidiaries, how many subsidiaries they have, in which subsidiary they are doing what. Every information I am getting from 10K. And thanks to the scandals which they are making, and these scandals are helping me to have more information about these banks. Now, when today in 2022, I started my LLB, my law, and in 2023 I am moving forward with my LLB. I've started learning PMLA in India. PMLA stands for Prevention of Money Laundering Act. India also have their respective Prevention of Money Laundering Act. US also have respective. UK also have. Actually, all the member countries of FATF, which is called Financial Action Task Force, FATF, they have their respective laws of money laundering. Some laws are very stringent, some laws are relaxing, and some are superfluous in nature. But it is very difficult to tell that who is stringent and who is superfluous. Because if I speak from that country angle, then it is stringent. But if I compare this with another country, then it is superfluous. Henceforth, I am not entering into this discussion. But in India, when it comes to LLB, PMLA is not in course. So you go with any university, you will get to know that PMLA is never been in the course. But you know that I always study something which is not in the course. Like I did my computers graduation, I studied what was not the part of the course. I did my MBA, which is Masters in Business Administration. I studied what was not the part of the course. And now, when I'm doing my LLB, I am studying what is not the part of the course. Because one thing I always understood from a very clarity angle, and there is always a sense of clarity to me, is that course is for everybody. I don't know whether you understood or not, but the God, the Almighty, you call this from any name, right? He created a line in the world. Now, this is called demarcation line. Now, in this line, majority of the people are on the one hand and fraction of people on the this hand. So I assume this is my right hand side and this is my left hand side. Majority means more than 99% people are on this side and hardly 1% people on this side. This line is called law of average. Now, law of average means when you born, when you start studying, when you do your job, when you live your life, you always do what is being asked to do. Example, if you are doing any degree, example, you are doing computers degree, you will only study what is given in the university course. Example, you are in a lab doing some chemistry solutions. You will only do as per the formula provided by the teacher. This is called law of average. But the person on the left hand side of the law of average, though they are fraction, but they always do what is not in the books. They always do what is not mentioned in the course curriculum. They always take their own ways. And that's the reason you have seen Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Larry Ellison, and all these people in my offices. I respect them because they are above law of average, like Steve Jobs and all. Similarly, PMLA is not a part of my course. But having said that, who cares the course? Course I would be doing, but above all, I would be focusing on knowledge, which I already started doing. Now, I went to Amazon and Amazon.com, and I'm really thankful for Amazon.com for giving us a wonderful platform whereby you get almost all the books. You know, I got this book called Vadva Law Chambers Guide to PMLA and Proceeds of Crime. So this book I got it from Amazon. Okay. And this book is about the PMLA Act of India. Now, PMLA is all about money laundering. You know, PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering. As we speak, we hardly have clarity about the money laundering in the world. You would be surprised to know today I was, scrutinizing more information about money laundering, and I got to know that even in 2023, the top agencies of the globe, they have limited clarity about the total AUM. AUM means asset we have as far as the money laundering is concerned. It means even in 2023, when the world is boasting about robotics, missiles, hypersonic missiles, and all these, we have almost limited clarity as far as the total assets in money laundering is concerned. Singapore. Many people believe that Singapore is an honest country. Many people believe that there is no scandals happened in Singapore and Singapore's central bank is very, very honest. But please study the judgment which is given up by honorable courts in India as far as the Amarpali is concerned. In this judgment, a company formed in Singapore, the company transferred 140 crores. 140 crores, which is, by the way, not a small amount. 140 crores from Singapore to India in two banks, Axis Bank and one escrow account of Bank of Baroda. So please don't expect me to explain what is escrow account, right? I already explained many times. Irrespective of that, when this such a huge amount which was coming from Singapore to India, where were Singapore? Where were ACRA? Where were Monetary Authority of Singapore? Where were the regulatory agencies of Singapore to check how come this huge money is getting transferred from Singapore to India? Now, please open Google yourself and check the Tax Havens Index 2022. In this Tax Haven Index 2022, please check the rankings of Singapore. You will get to know. If Singapore is amongst top 10 countries as far as the competitive index is concerned, then Singapore is also top 10 country as far as the tax haven is concerned. Henceforth, guys, we need to understand that money laundering is beyond any books. If you are expecting money laundering can be substantiated in a book, then you are extremely, extremely wrong, because the scope and the size of money laundering is beyond any imagination. You even do not know the methodology. You even do not know, a kind of scheme which people are running as far as the money laundering is concerned. And now this scheme is getting more complicated thanks to crypto. Because before the invent of crypto, I would say money laundering was all about gold, silver, real estate, probably agricultural land, cash, probably diamond mines, coal mines, all these kind of stuff. But after crypto, the things have completely, rather radically changed. And unfortunately, as we moving further in 2023, this scheme is getting complicated. We have recently seen FTX. FTX crashed. And see the kind of news which is coming up in the public. It will raise your eyebrows. Where were the auditors? Where were the regulators when these things were happening? Henceforth, if you are thinking you can summarize the money laundering in a book, then I am really sorry. Now, in this book, I studied almost 18 to 19 pages, I can say. I studied almost 18 to 90 pages. 18 to 90 pages. And I'm really sorry that in the first 18 to 19 pages, I really failed to see the mechanism of money laundering. Money laundering is beyond imagination. beyond imagination. You can't even feel where the money laundering is happening. Just like take a latest example of SPAC. SPAC means, the latest example of SPACs, a special purpose acquisition company. It is also known as blank check company in US. SPAC boom started somewhere 2020. I came in public domain. I said SPAC is a fraud because SPAC valuations are based on the formulas which are beyond imaginations, which are beyond any mathematics. Few people ignored it. Many people raised their eyebrows, as always. Today, in 2023, in the very first week of 2023, please check yourself. Now people are admitting that SPAC is a fraud. Several billion dollars of investors being washed out in SPAC. And this several billion dollars exact figure is not known to anyone. This is just a tentative figure you have. Now, can we give in writing that SPAC is not a part and parcel of money laundering? No. I can tell you a mechanism where money laundering can easily be done via SPAC sitting in India. Which means you don't need to go to US, you don't need to go to Europe, you don't need to go to Singapore, you don't need to go to Switzerland, probably London, Canada, Sweden, and all these countries. Sitting in India, you can invest in SPAC, and in easiest way, you can do the money laundering. But the point is, are the laws which we are using in money laundering, are these laws are concurrent? By concurrent, I mean to say, are we incorporating the changes which are happening in the financial markets? Because, see, there is a difference when it comes to family laws. It's okay. There is no money laundering. There is no market rigging. There is no crypto. Okay, it's a family law. I understand. When it comes to CRPC, okay, it's a procedural law. But when it comes to PMLA, prevention of money laundering, we cannot ignore the changes which are happening in the financial market. Because it's a prevention of money laundering and proceed of crimes. I'm not saying that it's all about India. I checked the rules of US. I checked the rules of UK. More or less the situation is I fail to see what I'm looking forward. It is the same thing which is happening, which happened in the banking, in the derivative parts. I would be making lots of videos in the PMLA, and initially I'm targeting 4 countries. One is the United States, one is the United Kingdom, what is the Singapore, and of course the Indian laws. It would be taking some time because I cannot cover all 4 countries in 1 month. And please even do not expect me to cover in 1 month. It would be taking at least a year or so to cover the holistic PMLA approach of all the countries. But having said that, one thing is very clear and upfront, because which is my background, hedge fund background, that the changes which are happening in the financial market, the changes which are happening in the world of crypto, AIF, Alternate Investment Fund, index funds, money market fund, hedge funds, crypto funds, private credit funds, all these things are supposed to be incorporated in the laws. It means that some laws needs to be amended almost on yearly basis. If we really wish to make these laws stringent, if we really wish to make these laws effective and all, because things are changing at a very fastest pace, just like NFT, non-fungible tokens, like I don't know how many of you are even aware about non-fungible tokens, but having said that, I would definitely be covering the non-fungible tokens when I would be doing the holistic study on the US, UK, Indian, and other laws. But money laundering is easily money laundering is easily possible via non-fungible token. Unfortunately, finding this by an investigating agency is really tough. The reason being, investigating agency of any country should be competent enough to understand what is NFT, non-fungible token, how exactly this non-fungible token works, who owns this non-fungible token, how the trading of this non-fungible token happens, how money laundering can be done in the non-fungible tokens, and how the repatriation done in the non-fungible token. It's really a cumbersome exercise. It requires the expertise, the skill set to understand the financial market, which is definitely not an easy job. And unfortunately, if you're expecting that books would be doing the spoon feeding of this, then it is not possible. Reason being, every day things are changing. So today, if you're publishing a book, tomorrow there is another thing which is there in the financial market. Henceforth, when it comes to PMLA, now it's not about India, it's about any country. When it comes to PMLA, which is prevention of money laundering, you can call this CTF, counter terrorist financing, you can call this money laundering, you can call this anti-money laundering, AML. Name is same, it hardly makes any difference, right? You can call this narcotic drugs, you can call this any name, right? Point is same. But one thing, it is supposed to be revised almost every year to maintain the effectiveness of that law. And it's an utmost responsibility of the legislator of that respective country to update this almost on a yearly basis. That's what I can request. But one thing I guarantee you, considering my background in finance, considering my hedge fund, considering my understanding of the G7 banks, considering my how the 10Ks, the annual report and everything is being worked, I would be making lots of video about PMLA, prevention of money laundering. Rather, I am very pleased that 3 videos about PMLA of India is already there in the public on my YouTube channel. I would be adding more videos. Currently, I am doing some thorough research on the UK, one part of the UK PMLA. They call this separate name, money laundering and all. That would also be coming on the YouTube. This is what I can say. Thank you very much, guys. This is Rahul Magan from Treasury Consulting Group. Give you my personal number +91 9899 242 978. Let me repeat, +91 9899 242 978. I told you guys I would be linking law with finance, and that is very tough on paper, but not for me because I do understand how finance works. And this understanding I would be bringing on the YouTube. But I'm telling you one thing, guys, money laundering is a menace, no doubt, and it would continue to be. Probably few years down the line, say by 2028 or 2030, I can say money laundering size, scope, problem would be beyond imagination what it is today. Because the money launderers are many steps ahead than the law. And every passing day, they are devising something which we unfortunately do not envisaging now. And unfortunately, laws are not incorporated with this. Of course, with due respect, there are changes which are happening in the law, no doubt. But unfortunately, the pace of the change is really small. and that change supposed to be fast. Now, please take a note that when I'm using a word pace of change and the law, I'm talking from a global angle, FATF, which is called Financial Action Task Force. So I'm not talking from any specific country angle. It is the duty of the regulator called FATF, Financial Action Task Force, to be really stringent. But unfortunately, the reality is little opposite. Thank you very much. This is Rahul Magan.